Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at day 2 of the Scourge of Ghyran with the Stormcast Eternals, like bolts from the blue. First up, on the article, which is linked in the description below this video, you can check out the short, which is read by Adam from the WarCom team. He's not actually the WarCom team, is he? Adam's like higher up, but this is cool. I haven't watched any of these yet. I will, but I'm not going to go over them here. That is for you to check out if you want to. But what do we actually have? So in this faction pack update, the mighty heroic Stormcast Eternals have been rewarded with 3 mighty heroic traits. Bolstered by intense piety, your hero's faith in Sigmar will be so absolute that enemy wizards and priests will struggle to cast their spells and prayers when in their presence. Very handy if you're fighting magic happy armies. That sounds quite strong actually. Hopefully it's not too much of an aura. Then there's Hour of Glory, which is like their finest hour but much longer, as in you can use it all of the time. Their favourite though is Legendary Tenacity. When your Stormcast hero finally falls in glorious battle, they do not turn into lightning and return to Azir. Instead, they just get up and carry on fighting. Just once, but it could be just what you need to turn the tide of battle. And it just sounds like a little revive. We're going to get into all of these and talk through them all once we get into the rules bit, but that sounds really nice. Alongside a trio of traits, there are a triad of artifacts, the relics of Sigmar. All 3 are flag, banner or beacon based wonders, making for excellent modelling options on your heroes. So the Banner of Sigmar can be slammed into the ground to prevent your opponents controlling objectives while they have no units contesting them. Interesting. The Sigil of Mordor, most likely crow-shaped, nullifies enemy commands and rampage abilities used in the combat phase. That sounds strong. While the Beacon of Azir can be used to chant a prayer or cast a spell automatically. I wonder if that's got a limit on it. Rounding out today's wondrous gifts from Sigmar, there's also a new Scourge of Ghyran war scroll for Iridan the Witness. Entering Ghyran has clearly had a positive effect on them, because they now inflict more damage than before, while their resistance to enemy abilities has also been increased. So inspirational is their faith that nearby Stormcast from the Ruination Chamber become harder to affect with enemy abilities, and more deadly in combat if Iridan demands it. Lastly, Iridan's Morgriff mount, Artefacts, can now leap over charging foes, leaving them confused and disorientated, then peck them in the back for good measure. Caw! That's my favourite bit of the article. Caw! I mean, it's a beautiful model anyway. His rules weren't that bad, I don't think. I can't remember his war scroll. I do have the battle tome somewhere, so we'll maybe have a look at the differences. So we'll touch on his profile and the points and things when we get to all of the rules. But we have our first General's Handbook fact. Fact number 1. It's a box, not a book. Technically there is a book inside the box, but this gorgeous new format includes so much more. Alongside the book, you'll also find battle tactics cards, battle plan cards, manifestation scroll cards, and 6 very fancy objective markers. So much exciting content, so little space to explore it. If only the internet was infinite. You just have to come back here another day to find out more. Tomorrow, it's virtuous warriors who seek to preserve and protect the realms by sallying forth on noble quests. They do smell slightly odd though. So it's Soulblight Gravelords tomorrow? Do we think? That's what I think. Let me know in the comments below. So as I say, all of this, or links to all of these things, are in the description below for you to check out and use yourself. Let's run over this. So faction rules, Stormcast Eternals, heroic traits. Passive, Legendary Tenacity. Effect, the first time this unit would be destroyed, before removing it from play, roll a dice. On a 3-up, this unit is not destroyed, and any remaining damage points inflicted on it have no effect. Then heal D3 this unit. So on a 3-up, it can get back up, you ignore any damage left over, and then you heal it D3. That seems quite nice. Hour of Glory is a passive effect. This unit can be picked to use their finest hour ability, even if it has already used it this battle. In addition, when this unit is picked to use their finest hour ability, add 5 to its command score for the rest of the turn. I'm not quite sure that's as good as get up on a 3+, but I suppose it's that continuous use of their finest hour. Yeah, definitely a use case for it. Finally, it's a hero phase ability, Intense Piety. Pick a visible enemy priest or wizard within 18 inches of this unit to be the target. That's a lot. Effect, roll a dice. On a 3-up, subtract 1 from casting rolls and chanting rolls for the target until the start of your next turn. So you can -1 to any casting rolls. On a 3-up, so it's not going to be all the time, but that still sounds quite strong. And going up against priests and wizard focused factions, that could be very nasty. Artefacts of Power. So these are the Relics of Sigmaron. The Banner of Sigmar, once per battle your hero phase. Declare, pick an objective within 18 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, until the start of your next turn, your opponent cannot control the target objective while they have no units contesting it. That's like a quick counter sticky, isn't it? The Sigil of Mordor is a once per turn reaction. Opponent declared a command or a rampage ability for a unit in combat with this unit. The effect, roll a dice. On a 3-up, that command or rampage ability has no effect. It still counts as having been used, and any command points spent to use that ability are still lost. Not guaranteed, but it is a nice potential debuff to an enemy unit you're in combat with, and it's once per turn, which is quite nice. And finally, we have the Beacon of Azir. Once per battle, any hero phase. Declare, pick a visible friendly Stormcast Eternals wizard or priest wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Effect, the next time this turn that the target uses a prayer or spell ability, instead of making a casting roll or chanting roll for them, you can use a value of 7 for that roll that cannot be modified. After that ability is resolved, if the target has any ritual points, reset their ritual points to 0. So the designer's note, ritual points apply modifiers, so cannot be used with this ability to increase the chanting roll to more than 7. So it's not going to get off the really big stuff, and your prayers are not going to be at the highest level, but if you need something and it's a value of 7 or less, it's a guaranteed. You guys, people who use prayers and magic abilities, Dark Oath don't really have them, so you'll have to let me know what you think of that one in the comments. It sounds okay. None of these actually excite me a huge amount. I think the Sigil of Mordor is very strong, but the other two, I'm a little bit hit and miss. Then going down to our War Scroll for the day, Iridan the Witness has had a little bit of a glow up for the Scourge of Ghyran, so move 12 inches, you have a 3-up save with a 6-up ward, health 12 and control 5, melee weapons, the Axe of the Final Threshold, crit mortals, 4 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, 2 rend, 3 damage, wow, nice. And Ariax, Plunging Talons, charge +1 damage and companion attacks, 6 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, 2 rend, 2 damage. We have passive, The Flames of Hope. Effect, you can reroll resistance rolls for friendly Ruination Chamber units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. We have a once per turn reaction when this unit was picked to be the target of a non-core ability. Guardian of the Final Threshold. Effect, make a resistance roll of d6, and on a 3-up, that ability has no effect on this unit. Prayer goes off on a 3-up, and Demands of the Witness. Declare, pick a visible friendly Ruination Chamber unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target when making a chanting roll of d6. Effect, until the start of your next turn, add 1 to the rend characteristics of the target's melee weapons. If the chanting roll was a 7+, you can pick another eligible unit to be the second target. I can see how that might tie in with one of them up here, the Beacon of Azir. We have another once per turn army, any combat phase ability, so rampage ability on Wings of Death. Declare, pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Effect, roll a dice. On a 3-up, you can remove this unit from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield within 1 inches of the target. If the target charged this turn, subtract 1 from hit rolls for the target's attacks for the rest of the turn. You could have some fun with that one. Keywords, unique hero monster, priest 1, fly, ward 6-up, which we touched on earlier, and order, Stormcast Eternals and Ruination Chamber. Iridan is going to set you back 320 points. Regiment options, any Stormcast Eternals, not 1 Stormcast Exemplar. And as with the previous Scourge of Ghyran profiles, the unit is legal for match play for battles fought using the General's Handbook 25-26 Battle Pack. So this new profile is a points increase of 30, but he does gain a 6-up ward, You lose your healing prayer, but you gain the new one, which gives you extra rend. You gain your passive. Guardian of the Final Threshold is basically the same ability as his Ruination Chamber, but it goes off on a 3-up instead of a 4-up, so that's a nice buff. On Wings of Death is a drastic change to his current combat passive on his base War Scroll. Honestly, getting a ward is nice. I'm not entirely sure that this one is a huge chunk better. Much more survivable, and I think he's much more offensive, I would say. His axe is damage 3 in the new profile, whereas it's a damage D3, so he's going to be hitting harder as well, just as a unit himself. Yeah, I don't know, this sort of stuff is interesting for list building, I think, because you can only take one of the profiles. They stated that previously. While I like this new one, it is more expensive. There's things that you can probably have fun doing, whereas the base one, I'm not sure that this is definitely better. It's different, and I suppose that's the great thing, isn't it? They're giving you choice. They're letting you play about with units and using different war scrolls and things, which I think is fun. You can use either, so they're not taking away the standard war scroll. You just pay a little bit extra points and you get to do cool things. Yeah, I like this, and we're starting to see how this is all starting to fall into place. So it seems like we're always going to be getting some sort of new take on a unit. Doesn't necessarily mean that that unit's better, and this is just more things to choose as you're playing, as you're building your army. New things to do, keeps the armies fresh. I know we're only 10 months into Age of Sigmar 4th? But these armies have had their battle tomes since pretty much the start. So this gives you something new to play with. It's fun. I don't know if it's better. Let's put it that way. This is where you guys are going to come in, because Stormcast Eternal players, let me know what you think of these new traits, Artefacts of Power, and this new war scroll for Iridan the Witness. Like I say, I'm not sure that he's better. I quite like the original battle scroll, but I wouldn't take either of them. I'd rather have unnamed heroes in my armies. So anybody who's been using him, what do you think of this new one? I think that there's things to like about it. I think he's more survivable. I think he does more damage. I think he's going to be a problem. I also like the fact that he can heal on his base profile, and I think taking that away definitely gives you an idea of which prayer you want to take. Yeah, it's good. I like seeing this stuff though. With the Grotma stuff they did for 40k, they didn't actually give you different takes on units. I think it's really cool that they're doing that, and they're trying to re-envision or tweak things and change how some things play, and you have a choice between which variant you want to take. I think all of that is really, really cool. I'm kind of excited to see what they bring in for Chaos. But like I say, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.